The floorboard cracks under his boot. Elias freezes mid-step, coffee tin still in his hand. The sound is wrong. Not wood settling. Not age. Something shifts beneath him, then goes still. He lowers the tin slowly to the table and listens. A pause stretches thin. Then breathing. Not his. Not the wind. Slow. Careful. Waiting. He kneels and presses his ear to the floor. The wood is cold against his cheek. For a second there is nothing. Then a whisper floats up through the grain. Don't tell. Another voice follows, same pitch, same calm. He ain't the one. Elias does not move. His jaw tightens. He stands, walks to the shed without rushing, and comes back with a pry bar. He slides the metal into the crack and pulls. The board lifts with a sharp groan. Dust breathes out from the dark seam. Another board. Then another. Beneath them sits a rusted hatch he has never seen, iron ring flat against the wood, a padlock snapped open from the inside. He grips the ring and lifts. The hinges scream. A smell rises up, damp and stale. Darkness fills the space below, thick as soil. Two small faces stare up at him. Identical. Pale. Calm. Their eyes do not blink. He says nothing. One twin tilts her head. You're late. The other answers, voice steady. Or early. Elias studies them. Same hair, cut blunt at the jaw. Same dirt smudged along their cheeks. No panic in their eyes. No tears. He does not ask whose cellar this is. He does not ask how long they have been down there. He keeps his voice flat. Can you stand? They look at each other first. Then both nod. He steps back from the opening. Come on. They climb the ladder that rests against the wall below. Bare feet on wood. Slow. Careful. When they reach the kitchen floor, they stand side by side, hands almost touching but not quite. He offers his hand out of habit. Neither takes it. The taller one looks around the kitchen. You live alone. Yes. The other twin's eyes move to the window. You keep the door unlocked. I do. She nods once, as if that confirms something. Elias lowers the hatch and sets the boards back over it without sealing them. He can still feel the hollow under his boots. He faces the girls again. You hungry? They both shrug. You thirsty? A pause. Then together, not anymore. A tight silence settles in the room. The house feels smaller with them inside it. Elias pulls two chairs from the table. Sit. They do. Perfectly straight. Eyes on him. Names, he asks. The twin on the left answers, you don't need them. The other adds, you know enough. He studies their faces again. There is no fear there. Only waiting. As if they expected this kitchen. This morning. Him. Boots crunch outside on gravel. All three heads turn toward the door. A truck engine idles. Heavy. Familiar. The taller twin speaks first, barely above a whisper. He found us. The other corrects her. No. We found him. A hard knock rattles the door before Elias can move. The engine cuts. Silence presses against the walls. Elias walks to the door, his steps steady. He glances back once. The twins sit without shifting, eyes fixed on the entrance. Another knock. Louder. A voice carries through the wood. Elias. Open up. Elias rests his hand on the handle but does not turn it yet. He looks at the twins. Neither blinks. He opens the door. The knock comes hard. Elias doesn't move at first. It's not the sound that startles him, it's the timing. The boards are still under his fingernails, dust in his hair. He hears it again. Harder. More urgent. Sheriff Boone doesn't wait for invitation. The door swings open before Elias can decide. Boone steps inside, hat low, boots scuffing, eyes scanning the room with that old, measured authority that everyone around town still respects, even if it's cracking now. "You tear up your own floor, Elias?" Boone says. His voice carries suspicion, warning, a trace of something else. Fear? Maybe. Elias doesn't answer. He only tilts his head toward the corner where the twins are standing side by side. The sheriff's gaze follows, stops. His jaw tightens. "Well, I'll be." Boone's laugh is too sharp, too brittle. One twin steps forward. "You buried him wrong." Boone freezes. "Excuse me?" "The dirt didn't want him," the other twin adds. Their voices calm, almost rehearsed. Elias watches Boone's face pale for just a fraction of a second before he masks it. "Kids got wild imaginations," Boone says, forcing a laugh that doesn't reach his eyes. Elias finally speaks. "They were locked in my cellar." "Your cellar?" Boone repeats, disbelief slipping into his tone. "Under my floor," Elias says, steady. His eyes never leave the twins. Boone stares at them again. They do not flinch. "Where's your parents?" Boone asks. "Under," both twins answer in unison. The single word lands in the room like a stone. The air shifts. Boone's smile dies mid-formation. He steps back a pace, hands twitching at his sides, caught somewhere between law and instinct. "You keep em here tonight." "I'll come back with papers," Boone says finally. His voice is quieter now. Not pleading, not commanding. Just, careful. He doesn't wait for agreement. He turns and strides to the door. Boots scuff the floor. The truck outside hums low. He slams the door before Elias can respond. The engine rumbles as Boone pulls away. The twins watch his truck disappear down the dirt road, eyes narrowed. Not with anger. Observation. Calculation. Elias closes the door slowly. He lingers by the handle, then turns the key. He locks it. Not Boone. Not the town. Just the door. From inside. He walks back to the kitchen, dust still clinging to his sleeves. The twins have not moved. Their bare feet make no sound on the boards. They sit again, back straight, hands in laps. Elias looks at them. He doesn't ask why they don't eat, don't speak more, don't run. He doesn't ask anything. He only watches. The room smells of wood and dust and something older. The twins speak then, quiet, almost to themselves. "He'll come back," one says. "He has to," the other adds. Elias leans against the counter. "And if he doesn't?" The twins glance at each other. Their small, identical faces are serious beyond their years. "Then we wait," one says. Like always, the other finishes. Elias stares at them, then at the floorboards he has patched back into place. They are ordinary again. Just wood. But he can still feel the hollow beneath. Still hear faint echoes. He does not move toward the cellar. Does not look back at the wall where it rests. He only stands there. Watching. Waiting. Outside, the wind picks up. Dust swirls across the porch, lifting tiny shards of wood. The twins' hair shifts with it. Their eyes follow the movement, but not him. He feels the weight of what Boone represents: old families, old power, rules enforced with teeth and reputation. But in this house, with these children, that authority feels hollow. Broken. Shaky. One twin tilts her head. "He knows nothing," she whispers. "Nothing at all," the other confirms. Elias listens. He does not speak. He doesn't ask. Not now. Not ever, it seems. They have come to him. Not the other way around. He steps back into the shadow of the kitchen. Boots silent on the boards. Dust settles again. And the room waits. Quiet but full. Filled with children who have been locked away, and a man who has learned that some questions aren't his to ask. The night leans against the walls. Somewhere in the distance, a dog barks. Somewhere else, a horse shifts in its stall. Boone's truck is gone. But his presence lingers in the air, heavy as a threat. Elias moves past the table. The twins rise without a sound. Their eyes remain steady on him. No one says another word. Not yet. The house holds its breath. The law is outside. Here, only the quiet and the waiting remain. Elias wakes to the back door creaking. The morning is pale, but not light. Mist lingers over the yard. He moves toward the sound, rifle in hand, more out of habit than fear. The twins are outside, standing over the old well at the edge of the property. Bare feet on the grass, heads bowed, mouths moving in quiet, rhythmic hums. The sound is soft, steady, almost musical. Elias steps closer. "What are you doing?" His voice carries, but they don't flinch. "Listening," one twin says. The voice is low, certain. The other adds, "It remembers." Elias peers down into the well. It has been dry for 20 years, cracked stone and dust. Nothing should answer. And yet he feels it, a vibration rising from the darkness. Not wind. Not water. Something else. Something alive. The humming continues, doubling now with the pulse from below. "What's down there?" Elias asks. Both twins look at him and say together, "What he buried." The vibration grows stronger. Elias grips the edge of the well, knuckles whitening. He wants to speak, but his voice catches in his throat. There is a weight in the air that feels like the land itself is holding its breath. A dog starts howling somewhere in town. High, desperate. The twins turn their heads but do not stop humming. Their eyes are steady on the well. Elias can see the outline of bones, tools, maybe shoes, in the shadow of the stones. The sun hasn't hit the yard yet, but the light seems wrong, colder, sharper, more revealing than it should be. "You hear it too," one twin says. Elias nods, though he doesn't trust the word here to describe it. It's a feeling. Pressure. Pull. Something that tugs at memory, at guilt, at fear. "Why here?" he asks. "It never left," the other twin answers. Elias exhales slowly. "You're saying it remembers everything." The twins hum louder, a low, resonant vibration. The sound carries over the yard, into the barn, into the house. A chair shakes slightly inside. The wind stills. Even the grass seems to hold. "Who buried it?" Elias whispers. The twins glance at each other, expression unreadable. Then the first one leans closer to the well and presses a hand against the stone. Someone who thought no one would look. The other twin, someone wrong. Elias lowers himself onto the grass, knees cold and damp. He presses his palms against the stone rim, feels the heartbeat of the ground. Every vibration matches a pulse in his own chest. He wonders if this is real or some echo of everything he's ignored, every old crime buried with promises and silence. A crow cries from the distant tree line. The twins stop humming for a moment, eyes fixed downward. Then the low pulse returns, stronger, almost insistent. Elias doesn't speak. He doesn't move. He simply waits with them, leaning against stone that feels alive. The twins finally step back, brushing dirt off their clothes. Elias follows them instinctively. He realizes they haven't needed permission. They've always moved on their own terms. "Do we go back inside?" Elias asks, voice soft. "One more," the first twin says. She kneels beside the rim, humming once more. The vibration responds. Not echo. Not reflection. Something aware. Not water. Not wind, the other twin adds, standing close. Something else. Elias swallows hard. He doesn't ask questions he already knows he doesn't want answers to. The dog howls again. A rooster somewhere crows. The twins rise together, calm as if nothing had happened, yet everything had changed. Elias feels the hollow in the well settle behind him, something older than the ranch, older than himself. He stands. His hands brush against the twins' shoulders. They do not flinch. Their eyes meet his briefly. No explanation. No plea. Only certainty. The vibration lingers, humming in the earth, carrying through the town like a warning. Elias looks at the well one last time. He knows it will not stop remembering. Not for him. Not for anyone. And the twins, pale and quiet, walk back toward the house, leaving him to follow, carrying the weight of the hum in his chest. The hum still echoes in Elias's head when he walks to the shed. The morning air is damp and cold, carrying the faint scent of smoke from Boone's truck leaving the driveway. Dust clings to his boots as he kneels by the workbench and slides a metal box from beneath the tools. It is heavy, rusted at the edges, locked with nothing more than memory. He pries it open. Inside are letters, stacked and yellowed, edges frayed. Each bears the red wax seal of Governor Hale, unbroken until now. The handwriting is formal, precise. Orders, permissions, warnings. Names crossed out, ink blurred. He picks up the first letter. Boone. His name appears more than once. Land disputes. Disappeared migrants. Payments that vanished into ledgers. The letters smell of paper and secrets. Elias clenches his jaw, feeling the weight pressing down, the same weight that vibrates in the well. The twins appear behind him. Silent at first, observing. Their eyes are unblinking, calm. Fire don't erase, the taller one says softly. Elias hesitates, then tosses the letters into the burned barrel. The metal clangs as they fall. He strikes a match and the flame catches, climbing quickly over the stack. Smoke curls, black and thick, rising into the gray morning. It only tells, the other twin adds, voice calm, almost prophetic. Elias watches the wax seals melt, dripping molten red onto the ash below. Flames lick the edges of Boone's name again and again. He doesn't move. Doesn't turn away. The twins step closer. You know about this? Elias asks finally, voice low, controlled. One twin, we were there. The other, we weren't born yet. Elias's hands tremble slightly. He drops another letter into the fire, sparks flying, and watches the words dissolve into smoke. The twins' eyes follow every curl, every twist, as if reading meaning in the flames themselves. The air smells of burnt paper and wax, acrid but cleansing. The letters burn faster than he expected. Boone's name appears again, along with references to land orders, payments, threats that had been whispered but never spoken aloud in the open. Elias feels a cold certainty that the words themselves hold the history of his family's complicity. He steps back. Smoke curls around his face. The twins stand silently. He can feel them observing him, weighing him. The wind shifts slightly, and for a moment the flame dances differently, casting moving shadows on the shed's walls. You feel it? Elias asks. One day, you'll see it, the taller twin says. Even if you hide it, even if you burn it. Why now? Elias asks, voice rough. Why not before? Because it always waits, the other twin says. For the right eyes. The right hands. The right fire. Elias watches the ash settle. Small black curls drift into the soil. He feels Boone's presence still pressing in the distance, the town, the power structures, the laws that never touched the children in his cellar. And yet, none of that matters now. The fire has spoken. He steps forward and kicks the smoldering pile, scattering remnants across the ground. The twins follow him silently back toward the house. No words, no directions, only movement. The house waits for them. The cellar below waits. The hum from the well pulses faintly, like a heartbeat beneath the land. Elias feels it in his chest, in his bones. He is not the one who found them. They have found him. Always have. The letters, the fire, the echoes of words not yet read, all point back to that certainty. He walks into the kitchen. The twins stay at the doorway for a moment, glancing back at the burned barrel. Elias follows their gaze briefly. Smoke rises and fades into the morning, carrying secrets no one will speak aloud, no one will ever write again. The twins move past him into the kitchen, calm, measured. He follows slowly, carrying the weight of what has been revealed, and what will never be erased, only remembered. Outside, the wind shifts. The dog howls again. The well hums faintly in the distance. And Elias knows, as he locks the door behind them, that fire may destroy paper, but it cannot destroy truth. It can only release it. The twins wait. And he waits with them. Silence and smoke hang together, thick as guilt, patient as the land itself. They don't ask to go. They just walk. Bare feet brushing the morning grass, small shoulders square, eyes fixed ahead. Elias follows, the boards of his porch creaking beneath his boots. The air is thick with mist, and the graveyard waits at the edge of the property, behind a crooked fence where the rails have rotted and leaned into each other like tired old men. The twins lead him past stones he recognizes. His father's, weathered and cracked. His mother's, neat and freshly cleaned with flowers wilted in yesterday's sun. And then a fresh mound he has never seen. No marker. No cross. Just dirt, dark and soft, shifting as if something beneath struggles against the weight above. That wasn't here, Elias says. His voice is flat, but it carries the edge of surprise he cannot hide. One twin kneels at the dirt. Fingers pressing into it lightly. It's shallow. The other presses her ear to the mound, tilting her head as though listening for a heartbeat. It's awake. The soil moves, almost imperceptibly, like a slow breath. No hand rises. No body bursts through. Just a quiet, unsettling motion that makes the hair on the back of Elias's neck stand up. He steps back instinctively, boots crunching over dead leaves. Who's buried here? He asks. The twins glance at each other and then back at him. Truth, one says. Truth, the other repeats, steady, certain, almost like a warning. Elias swallows, feeling the weight of the mound pressing against the morning air. He wonders what hands dug it, whose fingers packed the soil. The vibration beneath his feet hums faintly, echoing the hum from the well, connecting earth to cellar to this new unease. The fog shifts. The trees sway, but there is no wind. The twins rise slowly, brushing dirt from their hands. Their eyes stay on the fresh mound as though reading the story embedded in the soil. Elias studies them. They have grown calm in places where fear should dominate. A crow caws from the distance. Its harsh call shatters the quiet for a moment, then vanishes. Elias notices the edges of the graveyard, shadows moving unnaturally, or perhaps it is just the fog. He does not speak. The twins wait. They always wait. Do you feel it? He asks. His voice low, almost to himself. The taller twin tilts her head toward the mound. It watches, she says. The other adds, it knows. Elias leans on the handle of his shovel, though he didn't bring it with him. He doesn't need to. The twins' words weigh heavier than any tool. He feels the ground beneath him pulse faintly. The hum from the well has joined this place, a low vibration under his boots, as if the earth itself remembers every secret buried here. The fresh dirt shifts again, subtly, small tremors that make the grass sway. Elias glances down, expecting something grotesque to emerge, but sees nothing. Just the mound, alive with absence. The twins step closer together, standing like guardians of something Elias cannot name. He realizes their presence alone gives the mound authority. It rises and falls with their stillness, each movement of the earth connected to them somehow. Elias inhales. The air tastes damp, earthy, heavy with the scent of decomposed leaves. Behind him, the sound of an engine cuts off abruptly. Sheriff Boone's truck. The motor stops, leaving a vacuum in the fog, a silence that presses in around them. Elias doesn't turn. The twins remain where they are, eyes fixed on the soil. He feels the pull of old grudges, old secrets, old authority fading under the weight of this new presence. The mound exhales again, subtle but undeniable. Elias steps closer, lowering himself onto one knee. What do we do now? The twins glance at each other. Watch, one says. Learn, the other adds. And Elias watches, too, standing in the damp grass as the graveyard exhales, breathing with a life he never knew it held. The past waits here, but not quietly. It waits with expectation. The twins understand it. Elias only begins to. Boone steps out of his truck without his hat. That's how Elias knows something is wrong before the words even reach him. The sheriff usually wears that battered hat like armor, shielding his eyes, his authority, the thin smile he flashes when he wants to command a room. Not today. Today, there's nothing between Boone and the morning, and it shows. You took M to the graves? Boone's voice is sharp but uneven. They led, Elias says, watching the twins. They stand at the edge of the yard, pale faces calm, small but impossible to ignore. Boone's eyes flick to them, narrowing. You don't belong here, he says. One twin steps forward, voice steady, almost cold. We belong everywhere you buried. The other adds, especially under you. Boone swallows, hand twitching near his holster. His usual confidence wavers, the swagger that's carried him through decades of small-town power slipping away like dust through fingers. You two don't understand. Elias crosses his arms. What don't they understand? Boone's voice cracks, just a little, barely noticeable, but enough. This land runs on order. The taller twin tilts her head. It runs on blood. And Wells, the other adds. Elias watches Boone's hands tighten into fists, knuckles white against the denim. You dig that grave, Elias? Boone whispers, almost to himself. No. Boone exhales, shoulders sagging slightly. I didn't either. For a moment, the wind stops completely. Not a leaf moves. Not a bird calls. The silence is oppressive, unnatural. Even the sun seems to hold its light differently, sharp and exposing. The twins speak together, small voices that carry farther than they should. Then who did? Boone doesn't answer. He stares at the mound, at the shifting dirt, at the children who speak truths no grown man wants to hear. Fear creeps in, subtle but heavy. He looks to Elias, who simply watches. No judgment. No instruction. Just observation. Boone steps closer to the house, hesitant. His boots crunch over gravel, breaking the unnatural quiet. You, he starts, then stops, swallowing. The words stick somewhere between threat and admission. The twins shift their weight slightly, barely perceptible. Elias notices it. Power is tilting, just a little. The balance that Boone has relied on all his life, the law, the town, old family loyalty, is shifting. Not toward him, not toward the sheriff, but somewhere else entirely. Elias moves toward the well. He glances at Boone. You still think this runs on order? Boone swallows again. The words falter. He stops. His hand drops from the holster. For a moment, he looks like the boy he once was, the one who grew up under rules he never questioned until now. The twins stare up at him, eyes unyielding. Power runs on watching, one says softly. And silence, the other adds. Boone's face tightens. His lips move without sound. Elias watches, heart steady, as Boone realizes he can no longer command the moment, the land, or the children. His authority is hollow. Elias steps closer to Boone. The dirt shifts under truth, not badges. The taller twin leans slightly forward. You buried enough already. The other twin whispers, almost to Boone directly, and you'll dig no more. Boone's hand trembles. He looks down at the ground, at the well humming faintly nearby, at the mound that exhales. For the first time in decades, he feels powerless. He glances back at Elias. No words come. No orders. Just the recognition of authority lost. Elias feels it too. The twins, quiet and small, have tilted everything. They do not ask. They do not demand. They simply exist, and the earth bends around them, carrying the weight of the secrets buried, the wells dug, the silence enforced. Boone swallows. The sheriff, the law, the man who has run this land through intimidation and fear, stands diminished. The wind starts again, slow, deliberate, moving through the trees and tall grass. Birds call out. The day continues, but the moment remains heavy and still. Elias glances at the twins. They do not smile. They do not blink. They simply watch. And Boone, without his hat, without the swagger, without his usual certainty, finally steps back, silent, defeated, understanding for the first time that he is no longer in control. The earth hums faintly, a reminder. Not just the well. Not just the mound. Everything waits, and those who think they hold power are revealed as temporary. Elias breathes in slowly. The twins' eyes meet his. He does not speak. They have already said enough. Boone doesn't answer the question. He never will. He just looks afraid, and for the first time, the fear is honest. The wind carries the quiet across the land, and Elias knows the balance has shifted. Not to him. Not yet. But it has shifted. The children stand small, calm, and unyielding, and the sheriff without his hat has nowhere to hide. Night falls quickly, the kind of darkness that swallows the house whole. Elias moves through the kitchen with a lantern, its light weak against the shadows in the corners. The twins follow silently, bare feet brushing the floorboards. Then it starts. Tapping. A soft, uneven rhythm inside the walls. Boards creak. Floorboards hum. The sound is faint at first, like the wind, but it carries a voice, a lullaby, low and trembling, sung by a woman. Elias grips his rifle tighter. You hear that? One twin nods. She's thirsty. The other adds, she's tired. Your mother? Elias asks, voice barely audible. Both, she was put where no one looks. The walls swell subtly. Boards bend slightly, as if the house itself is alive, pressing against the ceiling and floors. Shadows shift. The air grows heavy, tinged with damp wood and something older, a memory too long buried. Boone's truck lights flash outside, cutting through the darkness. Elias hears the engine stop abruptly. He rushes to the porch, lantern held high. Boone climbs down, pale, hands gripping the doorframe. I hear her too, Boone says, voice low, hesitant. The swagger is gone. The fear is thin but undeniable. The singing stops. Silence hangs for a heartbeat, then stretches. Then a whisper rises from beneath the floor. Soft. Commanding. Open. Elias freezes. He stares at the cellar hatch. Dust rises faintly from under the boards. They shift subtly, almost breathing. The twins move toward him, calm, unhurried. Their bare feet make no sound. She waits, one says. She waits, the other repeats. Elias kneels by the hatch, hands trembling slightly. He lifts the ring. The boards groan. Dust clouds curl upward, settling around them. He peers down. Darkness. Smell of earth and damp wood rises. Something in the shadows moves. Something alive. Boone steps closer to the edge of the porch, voice catching. Elias, are you sure? Yes, Elias says, though uncertainty gnaws at him. He feels it, something watching from below, patient, angry, sorrowful. The twins do not flinch. They press closer to him, shoulders almost touching, small but steady. A faint light from the lantern reveals the cellar walls, slick with age and secrets. Elias feels the weight of every crime, every silence, every hidden truth buried beneath him. The lullaby hums again, now stronger, more desperate. Boards shift. The house groans. Boone's hand twitches near his holster. You shouldn't. Shoo, Elias interrupts. He holds Boone back gently, aware the law has no place here. Not tonight. Not in this house. Not with these children. The cellar hatch rumbles, dust puffing up as if the floor itself exhales. A soft glow flickers below. Elias leans closer, heart pounding, the twins' hands lightly brushing his arms. They are calm, unafraid. Waiting. She sings for the lost, one twin whispers. And for the found, the other adds. The boards move again, louder now. Elias stands, lantern angled down, eyes straining. Shadows twist. Shapes form. Not solid, not completely gone. Something resides there. Watching. Waiting. Boone swallows hard. No swagger, no authority, just fear now. He glances at Elias. I hear her, he says. His voice is barely above a whisper. The twins step back slightly, still unmoving. Their eyes are locked on the hatch. The air trembles with the sound of the lullaby, swelling, echoing, then stopping abruptly. Another silence. Then a soft rattle from beneath the floor. The hatch moves on its own, slow, deliberate. Dust falls in clouds. The children watch, calm, as if expecting this. Elias tightens his grip on the lantern. The house creaks around them. Boone takes a step back, pale, unsteady. The twins' voices, quiet but certain, rise together. She is here. We only need to listen. Elias exhales. The cellar waits. The mother waits. The walls themselves seem to pulse with memory and grief. He kneels again, hands on the ring. Whatever truth lies beneath, he knows it will not be silent. The night holds its breath, the lullaby suspended, and the children remain still, guardians of a voice no law can command. The hatch bursts upward. Dust explodes into the kitchen, particles dancing in the lantern light. Elias stumbles back a step, coughing, shielding his eyes. The twins are beside him, calm as ever, watching the dark space below as if expecting the explosion. Silence follows the dust. The cellar yawns open, empty of bodies, but full of objects. Lantern in hand, Elias leans closer, peering into the shadows. Badges, tarnished and dulled, glint faintly. 3, at least Boone's predecessor, 2 deputies before him. Children's shoes, dozens, small, scuffed, lined neatly on the floor like offerings. Letters, stacked and sealed, some yellowed, some folded carefully. The air smells of metal, paper, and earth. Boone drops to his knees at the edge of the cellar. I didn't know, he whispers, voice shaking. One twin leans forward, eyes cold, unwavering. You knew enough. The other adds, you looked away. Elias steps down the first rung of the ladder. The twins watch, unmoving. Dust swirls around them. Every object is a memory, a crime, a silence finally forced to rise. He picks up a small locket from the corner. The metal is warm in his palm. Inside, a woman's photograph. The same eyes as the twins. And scratched along the edge, well. The twins remain beside him. Their calm presence makes the room feel heavier. Not with fear, not with grief, but with recognition. The badges are tarnished. The shoes are worn. The letters smell of ink and secrecy. Each object carries weight, yet none of it screams. It waits, patient, unavoidable. Boone leans back against the floorboards, shaking his head. All this, buried, and I never. You buried some of it, one twin interrupts, voice small but piercing. And ignored the rest, the other adds. Elias holds the locket close. He can feel the pulse of the earth beneath him, faint but insistent, echoing the hum of the well. The twins' eyes meet his briefly. They do not blink. They do not smile. They only watch, knowing more than he could ever speak aloud. Boone's shoulders sag. The weight of recognition settles over him, heavy and inescapable. He swallows, but no words come. The truth is too large for sentences. Elias climbs fully into the cellar, stepping carefully between badges, shoes, and letters. The lantern casts long shadows across the walls. He lays the locket beside a small stack of letters, careful, reverent. Dust settles in the quiet. The air vibrates slightly, almost imperceptibly, like the earth itself is breathing. The twins stand at the ladder's edge, motionless. Their presence is steady, unwavering. They do not need to speak. The objects themselves tell the story. Elias glances up at Boone. The sheriff's face is pale, haunted, every line carved by memory and guilt. He does not move. He cannot move. Outside, the hum of the well begins again, faint at first, then stronger, echoing beneath the house. It vibrates through the walls, through the kitchen, up to the cellar. Elias feels it in his chest. The earth remembers everything. The twins point to the corner. Elias moves closer. He finds one final object, a small, rusted locket. Inside, the woman's photograph. Same eyes. The mark of the well etched into the metal. He feels the weight of connection, history, and secrets pressing in. The cellar is silent again. Boone remains kneeling. Elias holds the locket. The twins remain calm. The hum of the well is steady, unwavering, a reminder of the land, the buried, and the ones who watch. Elias steps up the ladder slowly. The twins follow him without a word. Each step feels deliberate. The past has been unearthed, but it will not stay buried again. The house exhales. The well hums. Boone doesn't move. Elias glances at the twins, and they only look back, quiet, unyielding, aware of everything the earth has kept hidden for decades. Tires grind against gravel. The black car rolls to a stop at the edge of the property, engine low and steady. Elias doesn't move. He watches from the kitchen window as the door swings open and Governor Hale steps out. Smooth suit, polished boots, hands folded at his waist. A practiced smile. The kind that hides everything. "What's this nonsense I hear?" Hale asks, voice even, controlled. Eyes scanning the house, the yard, the twins standing silently at the edge, pale and still. Boone shifts behind Elias, avoiding eye contact, boots scuffing lightly against the floor. One twin steps forward. "You signed." The other adds, voice calm, unblinking. "You sealed." Hale's smooth mask falters for a split second. He blinks, studies the children. "I don't speak to children," he says, clipped, almost a command. Twin one tilts her head. "You buried mothers." The second twin says plainly, "You funded wells." Hale's lips tighten. This ranch sits on state land. His hands clench, the veneer of authority cracking. Elias steps forward. "Then dig." The humming from the well grows louder, faint at first, then insistent, vibrating through the boards, through the floor, through the black soil. The ground seems to pulse with memory. Hale glances at the twins, face pale, smooth composure unraveling. "What are they?" Hale whispers, barely audible. His voice trembles, betraying the confidence he's worn like armor for decades. One twin answers calmly, without hesitation. "We're what stayed." Elias watches Hale stiffen. His hands flex at his sides. Boone shifts but does not intervene. The twins are unflinching, silent authority in small bodies. The air vibrates with tension, the hum from the well beneath them steady, relentless. Hale takes a step forward, then stops. He looks at the yard, the cellar, the earth itself. His words falter. The well hums louder, like a warning. He swallows, eyes darting to Elias, Boone, the twins. Authority feels distant, fragile, meaningless in the face of what's been unearthed. One twin tilts her head slightly, voice even, commanding. "You thought no one would watch." The other twin adds, "You thought it would stay buried." Hale's shoulders tighten. He takes a step back, as if the land itself repels him. Dust shifts at the edge of the yard, stirred by nothing but presence. The house seems to lean slightly, creaking, alive with the memory it holds. Boone's hand hovers near his holster, but he does not speak. He cannot speak. He only watches, pale and silent. Hale's polished smile is gone. The black car's engine idles softly behind him, but it cannot mask the hum that fills the air. The twins shift slightly, their small feet brushing the grass. Elias watches them, calm, unafraid. The governor's composure falters further, realizing he is confronted not by law, not by threat, but by truths that no power can control. You thought you could hide it, one twin whispers. The other, we remember. We always remember. Hale swallows, face pale, hands flexing, knowing instinctively that the balance has shifted. He was never in control here. Not the land, not the children, not the cellar, not the hum of the well. Elias leans against the porch, watching, quiet. Boone stands beside him, silent. The twins, small and unyielding, hold the attention of the man who once ruled from offices, sealed documents, and authority. The hum rises again, a low, steady vibration beneath the ground, a warning, a demand, a witness. Hale finally looks at the well, then at the twins, voice breaking, almost a whisper. What are they? The first twin repeats calmly, or what stayed. The second twin, or what remembers. The ground beneath the car shifts imperceptibly. Dust rises faintly. Hale's shadow leans backward, unsure, unsteady. Elias feels the weight of everything beneath them, the earth, the cellar, the burned letters, the badges, the shoes, the graves, pressing through the morning. No one moves. The hum continues. The air holds its breath. Power meets exposure, and the governor realizes, for the first time, that authority can be challenged, but truth cannot be buried. The twins do not blink. They do not falter. They wait. Hale swallows again, silent, stripped of pretense. Elias leans against the porch rail, calm. The well hums beneath them, relentless. Boone remains silent, powerless. Hale's shadow stretches long over the yard, uncertain, diminished. And the children, small and unwavering, hold the weight of what stayed, what remembered, and what refuses to be hidden. The ground begins to split on its own. Elias steps back, boots sinking slightly into damp earth. The well collapses inward first, stone giving way, water rushing up black and thick, carrying with it a weight the land has held for decades. No one digs. The earth does it itself, slow and relentless, revealing what was meant to stay buried. Shoes float first. Small, scuffed, pale. Children's shoes, dozens, drifting in the black water like ghosts. Letters follow, wet and curling, ink bleeding into mud. Bones rise last, small, fragile, too many to count, pale against the sludge. Elias swallows, stomach tightening. Boone stumbles backward, hands shielding his eyes. This wasn't me, Boone stammers, voice cracking. One twin steps closer to the edge, voice quiet, calm. You profited. The other twin adds, you permitted. Elias glances at Hale, who stumbles backward from the edge of the well, suit stained with mud and water. You signed the land orders, Elias says, flat, steady. Hale points at the water, trembling. It was containment. Protection. The twins speak together, small voices that carry like thunder. It was hunger. The water continues to rise, relentless, but stops before reaching the edges of the yard. Bones float in the blackness, letters curl, and the earth refuses to swallow them again. Shoes, badges, scraps of clothing, the remnants of life, proof of the silence imposed, proof of the graves ignored. Boone sobs, the authority gone, replaced by something older, heavier. Hale leans against the truck, face pale, trying to maintain composure, but it's gone. The hum of the well pulses beneath their feet, vibrating through stone, soil, and bone alike. Elias steps closer to the water, eyes scanning the floating remnants. He feels the weight of decades pressing down, the lives buried and forgotten now revealed without effort, without human hand. The twins stand beside him, small but resolute, eyes fixed on the black water. Boone whispers, voice cracking. All this, buried under our hands, and we did nothing. You did everything, one twin replies, calm, unwavering. The other adds, and nothing. The air is still. The wind holds its breath. Birds do not call. The hum from the well grows, insistent, filling the space between house, yard, and collapsed well. It vibrates through everything, proof that what was buried cannot stay hidden. Elias turns to Hale, face hard. Look at it. This is what the orders created. Hale swallows, throat tight. He cannot speak, cannot deny. The weight is undeniable. The water, the bones, the shoes, the letters, all proof that the law, the state, and the governor's office could not erase the lies hidden beneath. Boone turns away, shoulders shaking, unable to face it. Hale stumbles, touching the earth as if to pull it back in, but it refuses. The ground has given what it held. The twins stand in silence, eyes scanning the scene. They do not move the water. They do not touch the bones. They do not speak further. Their presence alone holds the truth, marks the shift in authority. Not even the law can control what the earth remembers. Elias kneels by the water, letting his hands hover above the surface. The black liquid refuses to swallow the remnants again. The hum from below rises to a pulse, steady and commanding. The earth has revealed itself without shovels, without orders, without intervention. The twins look at Elias. Their eyes are calm. Their presence is unyielding. "It's done," one says. The other adds, "but it watches." Elias stands. Boone remains slumped, broken. Hale's hands tremble. The well hums beneath the yard, steady, inevitable. Bones, letters, shoes, proof of everything that was hidden, now open to the air, to memory, to witness. The wind shifts slightly. The sun breaks through clouds. Nothing will be buried again. Power has shifted in plain sight. No one holds it anymore. Not Boone. Not Hale. Not even the land. The truth remains, rising, black and undeniable, and the children stand small and steady, guardians of what stayed, what remembers, and what refuses to be hidden.